Yeah, John.
I'm trying to get this all sorted out, exactly where you're headed with this, Lauren. Because we're talking about equipping, it seems to me that our prime interest is not learning how to do this ourselves at the moment, but learning how to get other people to do it. And for example, in Germany, one of the prime things that we find is to equip someone for evangelism, he needs to have a heart for the lost. He needs to be able to see that the guy living next to him is lost. So we'll take Romans 10:1, which indicates the kind of heart that Paul had, and we'll ask him now, what indications do you see in this man's life that he is really living in darkness, that he's lost? And you have to think about that and figure that out, how he's lost. We also realize that if he's going to win somebody to the Lord, he's got to establish bridges of communication, and that involves relationships. So we ask him now, just how can you develop that relationship? And we try to train his thinking processes so that he sees things that he's never seen before, that he begins to relate to people, figure out how to relate to people. One thing that we're talking about quite a bit these days is environment, evangelism orientated according to your environment. We find that our disciple makers, lots of times our disciples, are much better at that, particularly where we're living in foreign countries. They have a much better, so if we teach them the principles, they come up with more suggestive approaches than what we can ever think of.
And that's exactly what we try to do over here, John. That's what I try to. I don't like to go in all the details of the thing, but I like all the time to communicate the thoughts behind it. That's in line with what you try to say there. That we like to this person in equipping to get all the time thinking what to develop. So what to develop, the relationship, the insight of the gospel, what means I have available in my situation to do it. That's just exactly, not all the time thinking, do I have a comfort, do I have a comfort? No. Concentrate on the what to develop.
In this chart now, what he says, where is it?
What you say is just, if you look in the attitude of the helper, is also a line, not a bottom line, just above the bottom line you have the attitude of helper. So the attitude is gentle, patient, but clear. Just very general statement, and we could enlarge it with things you are doing over there, with principle of content above that stage, what to develop. So what you just share is indeed in this stage, before the convert, under the italics of conversion. He is involved in this with this guy in the process of conversion, we hope. And there he has his emphasis has to be. What is there?
Then it comes back in commitment, on the commitment. Because it seems to me that what John is having at is what you have on the commitment, on basic disciple.
Oh, you said there we start to what the disciple maker in the disciple likes to build in the desire to be a witness through word and life. You mean? There's again what we like to. Yeah, that's.
See, you're not talking about the same thing. You're talking. We need our people to have a heart for the lost.
And that's
not in this, but that's here.
That's on the disciple.
That's the disciple.
The equipping of that man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Think of it.
I see now. I'm thinking according to the FOM, when I hear the word equipping, I see there's these different stages. There's evangelism, establishing, and equipping. And equipping primarily that I want to do with a basic disciple in order to make a laborer of it. So So I'm equipping him to do evangelism. I'm equipping him to do establishing so that he can be a lay.
Can I help?
Yeah.
The thing is this is printed for you, but we have in Holland have a different. What we do is this. We have this on a page. We have that on a page.
No, show it.
So, when someone is here, we give him that. When someone is there, then we give him that. Yeah, look, there's a misunderstanding here.
Now that's how do we use it in ministry? We start off only with the first part. Only the first stage, that's all in Dutch. And then that's the only thing we do with him. In the student work, we never print it even. They never get this printed thing. In the community work, we have to do it because we don't see the people. We have not a possibility to establish it with them. For example, I came once to a room, and a guy I asked him about follow-up and what he thought about it, and he started all excited to draw the thing, and he said, I don't think you know it already, but we have developed a great thing over here, and he started to explain the whole story to me. It was their thing. And so they start from scratch, in the team, around the staff man. Okay man, there are differences, there are stages of growth. What do we need, what's our milk? And then they develop it themselves. Use the scriptures, study it. And then they get a bit further on the way.
Get now this, just to make it very clear. Who gets this?
The staff.
Yeah,
In short word.
but the staff gives this to who?
Is printed?
No. When does he talk about it? Because that is his question.
He starts, when does he start to talk about this? At the moment people like to be involved in evangelism, they start talking about this already when they're involved in evangelism. Then they start talking about the first stage.
So then it is equipping, isn't it?
Yeah, that's equipping.
Mr. John's question really, who are we equipping? Is that what you're asking, John?
Yeah.
Rather than, we don't start down here with our convert and begin to equip our convert.
No.
We're trying to educate our convert. We're equipping the minister disciple, the basic disciple. Is that right?
Yeah, so this is from basic disciple and up. These people we try to communicate, or sometimes even in between the committed learner and the basic disciple. There we start in our situation.
And essentially, my question is, okay, this is what you want your committed learner or basic disciple to be doing in evangelism, or to know and to understand and the like. But how do you get him to do this? In other words, I understand what the principles are here. But how do you get him to understand that and to do it? How do you equip him?
Yeah, that's in the sense just what's up to this man, the staff man, and up to you to figure out. And that's just what, from my point of view, I don't tell them. So I've done it with my man when I had this ministry going, and then you just start to sit down and say, then you start, well, you can take all kind of approaches to open up the matter of evangelism and go in the Word, and then you feed it with these ideas, and you start doing it, and in light of the needs from the people you are in light of the situation, you make all environmental things, or you make very clear bridge illustrations, or, and that's just not all the time I say, I don't have that how over here. And
Just to take off on that question, let's suppose you've got a basic disciple.
Right.
And he has these concepts now. He's bringing some converts through. He's helping them become a disciple. And you sit down with him. You've got some man-to-man times.
Right.
Now, what would you cover? What kind of topics?
Then we look in, and then we would have the next stage. We could look in what to develop. The next stage is what to develop. No, you think what to develop. For instance, this quality of helping. There a matter of quality comes in more. Quality of discerning. So you start talking about Philippians 1:9. or at least in the Dutch Bible gives very beautiful some words. Not in other ones that clear all the time, but about being sensitive and loving. And you start to talk about it in light of his person, the one he's helping. And he said, what have you discerned? What do you know already about his life just as a person? And then on a personal time or in team time, it depends. You're taking him through a whole thought process all the time. All the time we're working on thought processes, bringing in, not method, but thought processes, bringing in how to think about a person, how to discern relationships in his life. Why could he be in trouble with his scripture memory? Not just put scripture memory on all the time. But why is there a reason? Is it a lack of dedication? Or is there a sin? Or it helps us think more in line of all kinds of ideas there. Then I want to say, okay, men, go after it and try this method or try that method. No. More a question, why is that involved? And have you discerned, have you learned a bit from his...
Working with him more on the whys.
Very much more so.
Do you at any point then, let's say you've really given him a thorough understanding of the whys, do you at some point in man-to-man or otherwise talk through with him what he's come, the hows that he's come up with for that particular situation?
Oh yeah, you also talk about, then out of that you come with suggestions together, what do you do really, and you...
What would be an example? Let's say you were helping someone, you talk through what to develop with them, and you want them to begin sharing their faith. What would be an example of a series of methods or content that would be a person would come up with to say train someone in evangelism?
Wait a minute, I'll put on the plug first. I took them out over here. We use a little methods. Very simple. And again, he has to think. And perhaps that goal, yeah. What kind of thing you would like to see in this person grow? Now, like say, desire to evangelize. That's what your question is.
Yeah, let's take the whole...
Then
go ahead.
What kind of activities can you dream of, have experienced yourself, we have done in our area, could be a help to do that? And very simple, when are you going to do it? And he has to come to answer these three questions: goal, activity, and when. And we discuss it together on the basis of this individual. And we don't...
An example, maybe an activity or a when.
Desire to evangelize. Okay. Activities. Discuss Romans 10, for instance, together, so he gets understanding. That has to do with some teaching, the teach. Yeah. Then they discuss. For instance, go on with take to Mensa, was that the word? Where people eat, the place where students eat together? Dining hall. Take to dining hall. Has to do with transmit. I'm going to witness with him. Just he goes with me. That they're doing a lot. Invite for evangelistic training. Now we have a training sessions. There you get really here the real training part in it. Then then you put dates to it when it starts. You plan to do it and hope to do it, and that you can check with one another. So when I'm helping this laborer to do this with his men, I have his information and I can check with him. Have you done it? Have you discussed Romans 10? How did this person react upon it? Did he come through the why? Did he understand? Is there a growing desire already?
Okay, now at that point,
let's take that one on desire to evangelize, desire for the lost. And you say you're helping your disciple, and you discuss Romans 1, or Romans 10 with him.
Right.
And that now your man goes out and evangelizes, leads a guy to Christ, follows him up. He becomes a disciple, so now you're going to help your disciple.
To follow up.
You're going to help him to help his man, to in turn learn to develop his man and a desire.
No, then he does the same thing over again.
Okay. So he would discuss Romans 10.
Yeah, or he has discovered already in the meantime, because that takes some time before we go from one stage to the other. It's not
at that point, in equipping him, is there anything particular you do to help equip your disciple who is becoming a disciple maker to help his man get a desire for evangelism?
It seems to me that there is misunderstanding. Lawrence started out with this, yeah, with this thing on conversion and convert. It seems that many of you have a convert in mind. But this is for the disciple maker, or for the one who becomes a disciple maker. This is exactly what you're saying. So when Lawrence helps a man to do evangelism, then he talks about this, about when you want to help someone find Christ, then there should be a familiarity with the gospel. Then that man, your friend, there should be familiarity with the consequences for one's life. But then he says, now, what are the consequences for my friend when he becomes a
Christian?
convert? Then Laura would say, well, what do you think? Just go to the Bible and next week share with me what you think are the consequences. But it seems to me that when you started out, that's the reason I stopped it, because I thought that we are here not thinking about the convert, but here we are talking what we do with someone who has to help someone become a convert. Therefore, it is equipping. Does that make sense? Answer those go on.
James.
Well, can I ask a question for my clarification? Because
Right.
I think I understand what you're saying. That up to basic disciple, you're seeking to develop somebody, and you're helping them in the what and the how very much. And effectively, when we come into this seminar and into this discussion, we're really talking about a basic disciple or somebody that you're training to become a labourer. And so we're now trying to go to a deeper level of understanding. The first level of understanding was simply, what to do and how to do it, and he began to grow through this. But now you're seeking to develop a new level of understanding, where he's going to help somebody else, and this corresponds with your diagram of transforming, coming from within him. So you've concentrated on some principles so that he will develop his own how. That seems to be very important in what you're saying. You're not trying to tell this chap, this is how you will help somebody else. But what you've been trying to say to us is how you will help your basic disciple to instruct another in evangelism, or whatever, or to
Follow up or
whatever. But so that's why you've kept away from the specifics, because your basic principle is to do it from inside.
right.
And then you will interact on these things, but you don't want to set down on paper, this is what we do.
No.
Whereas in a sense we're pushing you to say what you do. You can give examples, but you're trying to get us to be in a principle. Am I understanding?
Right, that's very right, so James, and we don't have any set of house in the country. There is not any set of house.
Yes.
So you go around in the country, you will hear this kind of story from all staff members. You will hear this from team members, and then all at once you will realize that in this city they do it, over here they have more, believe more on this idea to do it, and there they believe more on that idea. But it comes indeed out of
Yes.
these inner sources.
Yes. So in effect, you're very much working here on the why, which I think
Yeah.
is something that Scott brought out earlier.
Right.
actually.
At this
oh.
point, let's take Heart for the Lost. So just to take one thing out. Now, I think I see what you're saying. But let's say you want to help your disciple who's going to become labor develop a heart for the, take this one particular aspect. Are there any things you do to help him, well, first of all, grasp that concept in his own life, and then that you would help him to do, say, to take that area, to make it pass onable to his man when he's ready for it. Now, it's his thing, totally. You're not giving him any methods, but you are helping him to actually come up with something he will use that he can pass on to his next man.
Yeah, but then you come up with this thing again.
But let's
Wait.
now go, Laura, I think for clarity, let's go to commitment and basic design. I think that's what it is.
And I think that the point here that you have shared before to become the disciple. You've shared with him some ideas and principles. So I think there is a foundation, so he knows the bridge illustration. So, but then he used this illustration, he comes up with their own ideas. I think that's the point. We are not coming without a foundation. There is a foundation. So we helped him from the convert to a basic disciple. So he knows all things, but now he starts to think with his own ideas, and we help him to develop his own conviction, his own style to reach another, to build him up.
Based on these principles.
Yes, right.
And my question is, how do you help him to develop that?
That's the process. I think.
Is that make
Let's go now to commitment and then disciple, because you are there, fine, but then you have to go to this church. Now, under that, Laura,
Yeah.
can you just, yeah?
Excuse me, I still think Gary is in some degree asking the wrong question, because if I understand what Roman is trying to communicate, which I, Brother James, well, now let me just
Yeah.
Yes.
It seems to me that what you're starting with Joe, that's already he's here,
Right.
and you're trying to communicate to us that equipping deals with two basic concepts, i.e. evangelism and establishment. And your premise is that we, as equippers, want to deal strictly with areas to develop, but not give particularly in content on how to develop. And that's your whole premise,
Right.
it would seem to me.
Well, if Joe understands the principles of evangelism, and if Joe understands the principles of establishing, then he's well on his road to, well on his way to be equipped, because he develops his method himself.
Oh, and then the interaction and the practice he has gone through already for 1 year or longer, as indeed very correctly Horst mentioned. He knows already a lot of these things.
I think we're starting to get there.
Oh,
Well, let's state, if I'm not mistaken, it could help us to take the last part,
commitment.
commitment and basic disciple. What do you do there? And then you'll see that when you are working on this, that he gets
Joe has now got a convert, his name is James, and he's trying to get him to be committed. Okay, that's where we're at?
yeah, like commitment. Under commitment it says Lordship of Christ influencing practical areas of life. Now, take now Laurens, who is helping someone. Yeah, let's do that now. Okay?
I help Joe, who is here.
Yeah, then Laurens helps Joe. Now, that's Gary's question.
Yeah.
Okay, then Laurens thinks, now where is Joe? Well, Joe needs to become a basic disciple. So Laurens.
No.
Joe is already.
Joe is here. I'm helping James. Joe is helping James.
Laurens is helping
Joe to help
Joe
James.
To help James. To help James. Okay. Now, where is James in your mind? He needs to become a disciple.
He becomes a disciple and Joe needs to get equipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so then
Lord
Laurens,
needs to equip.
let me try whether I understand. Okay, Laurens goes to Joe. Laurens goes to Joe and says, "Listen, Joe, do you know what James needs?" "No, I don't know." "Okay, I'll tell you. Lordship of Christ influencing practical areas of life. That is what James needs, Joe." "Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yes, Lordship of Christ. Now, but how do I do that?" Then Laurens says to Joe, "That's a good question."
Glad you answered.
Now, you see that he needs that. Yeah, and now Laurens, you take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's one other thing that you help Joe, that you don't just show him the list of what to develop, you also work with him on why are these the important things to develop.
We try to come up together with it.
Yeah.
So I don't give him the here's the scheme. No. Yeah.
One question. You didn't take Joe through this?
He went through it himself first.
He's your man and he's already gone through this?
Right.
Okay.
So now you repeat the program just as you've gone through school.
Well,
and you've got
if he's
teacher.
gone through it, he should have some reference.
Right. That's what Horst said too. Yeah.
He'd seen the bridge illustration before he got converted.
So the question seems like you asked Joe then, is Joe, how were you helped that way? Would that be the best way to help James? If James is different from you, what other ways can we help James? I would always ask the man, how were you helped? And does it fit in the next situation?
And then also the why, because then he needs to get the inside ideas out of it, and then you come up with these things, and then
Good, this is helpful. I guess what I'm asking, what is the complete process of equipping in this one area? In the sense that, okay, you're going to help equip Joe in lordship, in passing on lordship.
right.
And so you first establish that's the need, and you're bringing up the whys, and now Joe himself will come up with the method on what he's going to do. And so what do you do from there? In other words, how do you build in this area? How do you help Joe use this tool so he becomes proficient with the tool, with his man? Or what's the whole process of equipping with this one area? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know he does it, but what do you actually? I'm interested in the Netherlands. What's the process of equipping Joe in this one area? Not just in the mind, but in actually doing it, and then you're checking up on it.
Yeah, that's it. And then every time again, you say, Joe, again, fill in. What's the next objective? Lordship of Christ. Is that the next phase your man is in, really? What area do we mean with Lordship of Christ? Fill it in on your goal. What kind of things you need to do? All the time to go back through what needs to be accomplished, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it. So that's the thing. Over and over again we make this kind of questions. We use it for building, we use it in all stages. I'm even using it with my staff.
Now, is that maybe a question behind that is Joe able to know what James is useful at this point? I think that maybe so how knows what James needs? What is it?
Yeah, right.
At this time, so that's maybe the question.
That's what he needs, and what he needs is partly stated in what to develop.
Okay.
That are the what's to develop. That are the basic issues.
Sorry.
I'm not sure exactly how to state the question, but there seems to be in experience, when you start helping a guy like James, so you're going to help him learn the bridge illustration.
No,
The first time that a guy
yeah.
like James, okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's say that you've led James to Christ, you've received Christ through the bridge illustration, and you say, you know, would you like to share with your roommate, you know, or watch me share? Now the first time he is just learning the bridge. When he learns it for himself, he learns a skill. Then all of a sudden when he becomes Joe, and you say, okay Joe, now I want you to teach the bridge illustration to another man so that he can use it. Then it's almost like a new thing. It's you've got to train a man twice.
Right.
So it would seem.
And that's it, because that's what we have done already under a commitment. When he was there, we learned him the bridge illustration, or even before that, committed learner.
That's correct. Now, if I'm understanding Gary right, and John also, the question is, what do you do to train twice? See, there's skills that you need to learn as well as way to think. See, and many of us understand what we want the guy to think, but there's skill levels that we also need to give to Joe. Just like we taught James how to do the bridge, we taught him how to draw it. That's a skill. Okay, now Joe, when he sees this second level of training, it's just like a new thing. What is the skill that you're trying to put into Joe? It's not just thinking, because there are some skill levels I think that you can know about. But what are the skills that you try to teach Joe? Is that?
Yeah. I think very much, first of all, to use just always this pattern.
There are three. Let me just clarify one thing. Do you understand that when Joe has gone himself through these stages, that he does not know that this exists? Is that clear?
That is true. That is true.
Is it clear that when we start to equip Joe, that he sees that it is a system, and yet he didn't understand it. He didn't know it. He doesn't understand. Okay, well, thank you. Because that's the second thing.
In Gary's question, he kept mentioning a tool. What is there some kind of a tool, and also this whole idea of skill. What skill are we really looking for? And it seems to me, particularly, I've noticed a whole lot more being overseas. Okay, the area of lordship. We want, well, there's the pie illustration. There's the little book, my home, my heart and home, and so. Now we may try to be training Joe to be skillful in using these illustrations, but it seems to me Lawrence is much more after the skill that Joe can realize this is what James really needs, and that he's not hung up on a particular method or tool. He can develop his own tool if he needs to.
And he has these few things available.
So the skill that we're really after is not so much that he can just take my method and use it, but the skill that we're after is that he understands the basic aspect and is creative and can come up with ways of doing it. That's the basic skill we're after.
See, I've got a little process, really quickly. My objective with Joe is to motivate him to educate his man. Because that's the thing you're talking about, going from the heart off to the action.
Right.
Then I want to stimulate him to create whatever little tools he needs to help in the process. But my equipping isn't done in terms of serving Joe until I investigate either to reinforce what he's doing in motivating him or to correct what he's doing. Because my objective is to make him a teacher.
And that's the question, how do you finish that process off, that last step, in the Netherlands?
We'll see what tools they use.
Well, I don't care what tools, but I wonder how they make sure that the tools are working for them.
Yeah.
Do you fellas work with a thing like that? Do you ask your people to write out a goal and actions and timetable?
Well, like you had two things in transmit, I've got a little bit of audience, what, why, and how. What are you trying to get across? Why is it important? And then how do you intend to get it across?
But isn't that the answer to Jerry?
That's three different questions.
You want to say something or
There's something in communication, I think. If I think through it, what does John know? Yeah, if he's going through a process of helping him to be established. So what does he know at this point where he is helped from another man? What does he know really exactly? And the other point is, if you're working, Lawrence is working with Joe, so he knows really what to develop. That's the point. He knows what to develop.
Yeah.
And so he can work on that, methods or ideas and so on. So he knows the guideline. I think that it seems that's behind that. There's a little bit unsecure maybe behind that. So he knows what to do, or we're helping him that he is understanding what to do. So the point of he must have some guidelines what to do. So we give him the guidelines. Yeah, that's the point, is what to develop. He knows what to develop.
Right.
That's the thing. Maybe that he knows what to develop, and then it's on his part how to do that. And his kind of skills. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Say something here.
Yeah.
There's one problem we run into in training, and this is all the way up the line to NAV staff and leadership as well, is that when we get into the what and the why, there can be a lot of unanimity on that. Almost everyone can tell you what you have to do to be a disciple maker, and so forth, and why. When it comes to the how, there is a great difference in gifts. And some are very adept at the how, others struggle with it all of their lives, simply because they're not gifted in that area. And so therefore, it is a great help for those who are gifted if they can come up with a plan, a basic plan to follow right on through, and they can take and use that. They have the freedom, they have something to use. Others, they develop their own things. Now we have seen this in the 2-7. It's been a tremendous example to us. To take people right from the layman out of the church with no NAV background and so forth, and because we give him a tool, he can make disciples. He's got the heart, he's got the commitment to Christ, but he does not know how. And so he has a tool. Now, the same has been true for NAV staff. Some who have gotten into this that has fit into their gifts beautifully because they have not been strong on the how. And they have taken this and they're having quite a fruitful ministry, whereas before they were struggling. I mean, for years struggling. So we have a problem in that in the gifts of people. Not all are able to do the how, and they need a basic plan, and if that can be given to them, because there's the heart and the commitment, they can go off and make disciples, converts, and disciple makers. And even to the point they can train staff, if they're given a plan to follow. So I think this needs to be thought through of a basic plan for people to follow. Not that they have to follow that, but it is a tremendous help right on to maturity, because some people simply are not gifted by the Lord to come up with a how. But the what and the why, they can teach on, they can preach on, they believe in it with all their hearts. But the how is a struggle all of their lives. So I was coming through.
But then the how here, in all the cases, is still these few questions in a way. Under what to develop, you ask yourself for your person these 3 questions, time after time after time. And that we do in building, and under building, I have put a lot of questions, special questions in. We have studies for that, how to develop building more specific. But if he knows, or if he can start to think about this, for instance, under commitment, let's say, Lordship of Christ influencing practical areas of life. It is very hard to say, list 30 topics. Yeah, we can list very easily 30 topics or so. That could mean Lordship of Christ. But is this person then really helped? Or do you say, okay, just sit down, Joe, where is James facing Lordship of Christ? He's a student. Does he have a girlfriend? Yes, okay. Could it be Lordship of Christ over there? Yes. James has no girlfriend. Don't dream all the problems about girlfriends. And so on. So, then on this way you start to develop it together and instruct Joe under this point what to develop. And Joe is not all the time thinking about psychological issues, for instance. That can so easily be done in this stage. Just a few weeks ago we had a day for the community work. I presented this scheme and the question was, where do you believe, according to the how to evaluate, where your person is? Actually, that was a shocking question. Because most people thought that people were here or here or even here, while at the moment they started to look in the scheme, they thought, actually, I'm not even sure he has invited Christ to them. Others, assured of salvation is very... And so they all at once realized, I'm dreaming and thinking of great plans, big problems, difficult things, but what I need to do is just to go to him and learn how and pray and talk about assurance of salvation. That's the what to develop. So I have to find a passage of scripture where we can read together, talk it over, as a mother does, an attitude towards him, that's the attitude of the helper, looking for what he needs, you talk a bit about this or that, and then at least you will make sure you take half an hour at least talking about this topic. That's it. And so you build it in.
There are three questions that I'm trying to use when I'm sitting with a man trying to help him. I ask you the question, okay, what do you need in order to share the assurance of salvation? What skill do you need? Is it the skill of conversation, or the skill of using the word, or the skill of listening? What skill do you need to develop? And answering the question, what do you need to know from the Word? Do you really have a good grip on the assurance of salvation? Can you meet that need? And I ask you, what should your attitude be when you help this man? Those are the three questions I try to do. I think that's maybe what you're trying to say.
Right.
It's just a new way of saying it.
Right, just, yeah.
What you need to know, what should your attitude be?
That's also here, look at the attitude of the helper, attitude of the mother. He was a young Christian. Okay, what I remember on this day for the community work, this question was in there. What does it mean for you to have an attitude of a mother? Oh man, people were thinking all at once, I have no attitude of a mother, I only want to go after it. So they came up with quite some ideas. Oh, I have to develop, what do you need to study? From the words, this is your question right there. And that's it.
What about having some coffee?
Yeah.
One mistake. I have really enjoyed your illustration on the oven.
Yeah.
The thermometer. That's a super illustration. And so from now on, in the Netherlands, they don't make disciples, they cook them.
Right, they cook them. Right, Lee.
Yeah. Do you have this for the next year written out the same way?